Benjamin Moore offers more than just paint. They offer partnership, backed by over 140 years of innovation and crafted from the finest ingredients. Their products deliver exceptional performance and efficiency on every project. Find out how they can support your success. Connect with your local rep today at benjaminmoore.com. The folks over at Danner have been building boots here in the USA for nearly a century. Their factory in Portland, Oregon, is staffed by skilled boot makers from all walks of life. They show up every day to build boots worthy of the toughest workers in America. Every tool used expertly to its fullest capacity with honor and trust. The integrity that they build with speaks for Danner's legacy of quality. Find boots built in the USA over at danner.com. Festool is inviting professional builders and tradespeople to experience the next generation of cordless performance and rewarding them for it. Festool just launched its Cordless Test Drive, a nationwide opportunity to try its cordless tools with new battery technology and enter to win over $50,000 in prizes. The grand prize, a fully outfitted 7x16 Southland cargo trailer loaded with bot storage solutions and more than 30 Festool cordless tools, including track saws, a cordless table saw, and miter saw. It's easy to enter. Register an eligible Festool cordless tool, leave a review, and you're in. Even better, Festool's 30-day risk-free trial lets you test the tools before you commit. Head to festoolusa.com/test drive to enter by December 31st. Bring the warmth of stained wood to exterior ceilings, soffits, and more without the maintenance. Versatex Canvas Series pairs premium wood tone laminates with durable cellular PVC for long-lasting curb appeal. Versatex resists moisture, rot, and insects and installs with standard woodworking tools. Available in 9 distinctive finishes like Turner Oak, Natural Amber, and Driftwood across multiple trim profiles. Explore the full Canvas Series lineup at versatex.com. Hi, podcast listeners. Today's episode is a best-of compilation pulled from the Fine Homebuilding Podcast archives. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Enjoy. Welcome to the Fine Homebuilding Podcast, our weekly discussion of building, remodeling, and design topics aimed at anybody who cares deeply about the craft and science of working on houses. This is Senior Editor Patrick McComb. I'm joined by Kylie Jacques, Design Editor.
Hello.
Rob Watzak, Digital Brand Manager.
Hi.
And producer Jeff Rose.
Hello, everybody.
Nelson from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada says, hello. I've recently been turned on to your podcast and have been thoroughly enjoying your building advice that lands somewhere between experienced professional tips and good enough. My approach also varies within that range, but we recently purchased a 1947 home that we love and would like to be great rather than good enough. My question is about a rotted out window frame. On one especially rainy day in the fall, we spotted a drip above the front door. The door looks perfectly fine and is well sealed, so I climbed up to check the second level window directly above the door and discovered the sill was very rotted. I started pulling off rotten bits and soon got to the point of no return. I removed the PVC replacement window, replaced the sill with pre-painted new fur. I sealed up the frame as best I could with ice and water shield, flashing tape, and then reinstalled PVC trim around the window. This all happened on short notice. Because of a severe snowstorm forecast for later in the week, I called my brother, and we made the repairs in the dark the night before the storm. It is storming as I write this. He has got a good brother. I know my brother wouldn't help me with anything. I think the operation was a success. However, I am concerned about the potential rot in the wall below the window. We removed as much rotted material as we could access, including some of the original sheeting boards behind the stucco. There didn't seem to be a structural defect or visible black mold or smell, but it clearly had been rotting for quite some time. I suspect that there was enough of a leak to go unnoticed and cause rot for a long time, but rarely enough to run all the way down to the lower level and be noticed. The exterior stucco and interior plaster both look intact with no signs of water damage, but should I be concerned enough to open up the wall under the window and investigate? I already have a major kitchen remodel and some basement insulation projects coming up soon, and a partner who likes the renovation process considerably less than I do, and I'd like to avoid another project in our bedroom if possible. Would you be satisfied with good enough if this were your house? I should maybe add we'd like to have the stucco painted in the not too distant future. Any advice is welcome. Thanks. Wow, what a great question.
Yeah.
So, stucco house, rotted window. Where did the water go that went through the windowsill, and what did it do? Dun, dun, dun.
Does it get absorbed by the stucco?
No, I mean, so he.
You paused too.
I would love to see how far back he pulled back the surrounding area to see. I mean, obviously, anytime you come across something like this, you're going to ideally keep tearing at it until you get to good solid material.
In a stucco house?
There's no such thing.
All right. I mean, seriously, if it's wood siding or vinyl or many other materials, it's easy to take a few pieces off and look and see what you got. But in a stucco house, I don't know, man.
I mean, the way I would approach this is if he honestly said he doesn't see any signs of any compromised areas inside or outside, I would say leave it for now, as long as it wasn't adjacent to where he's doing some of these other expensive repairs.
So if it is, you say do a little more investigation and see what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like if he's doing a kitchen remodel and this is on the other side of it, I would certainly be inclined to tear the wall open because you're already going to be working in that area. But if he says it sounds like it's outside his bedroom and he doesn't see any signs of water damage on the inside and or crumbling plaster on the outside or stucco on the outside, I might be inclined to wait. But
do you have thoughts on this?
I always wait.
Always.
I just wait for wet.
Wait for
to
parts
show
to
up.
fall off.
Yep, then I know.
What was this gentleman's name?
Nelson.
Patrick's on like the warpath about like bad stucco lately. Anyway.
Oh man, so
Did you go to that talk? Is that why?
yes,
Stucco, no, you don't.
stucco. No, you don't.
Did you go to that one?
Christine,
I caught a little bit of it.
is it Williams or Williamson?
Not sure.
Williamson?
Yeah, I think so.
So she presented at our summit about stucco failures, and they're everywhere. They're bad. They're very expensive to fix. So I talked to Nelson a little bit yesterday via email, and I asked him some questions. His house is insulated with fiberglass batts, as near as he can tell. Fiberglass batts are pretty resilient to wetting, right? Water just goes right through them, and it would collect at the, I guess if it was running down the wall at this door, which is directly below this window, which is where they saw the drips, right? So around doors, you commonly have air leaks that's allowing this to dry, right? So, I mean, I would be very inclined to let it go and not worry about it.
I like it.
If I was really if this was keeping me up at night, I would drill a hole in the head jamb of the exterior door and poke a borescope up there, or at a minimum, give it the sniff test to smell if it smells like rotting wood.
Sounds like you did that,
And
didn't he?
Yeah.
when he was upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I asked him, I was like, does your house smell like mold? And he says no. And so, I mean, for me, that's good enough.
Yeah. I mean,
But he wants it to be great.
Some things are
there's
just
no
not
such thing as
great.
perfect. Yeah. No,
And
I mean, it's a huge, like, where do you stop, right? And if he says, like I'll repeat it, like if he says that he doesn't see
Can we see the front of that house again, Jeff, please?
Yeah, let me see that. And it's surprising because, one of the scariest things with stucco houses is like exposure, and there's no overhangs on that house.
No overhangs on this house. You know what the saving grace of this is?
A little door awning.
Do you know why this is working?
Why is that?
Because Winnipeg gets like 20 inches of rain annually. So, and it's cold. You're going to have lots of drying because he's going to have heating on all the time.
And it was this from the 40s or something like that?
He said it was the 50s, I think.
50s, yeah.
40s.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so it's
40s. Thanks, Jeff.
Those conifers planted up close to the house are not a good idea
And why do you say that?
because they trap moisture.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're sitting right on the siding.
Yeah, in fact, in Christine's talk at the Fine Homebuilding Summit, she had a picture of this really bad section of this one stucco house, and it was right where some shrubs had been sitting.
Yeah.
There
I
were
would-
sprinklers,
I
right,
would
that
advise-
were watering the landscape and soaking the wall every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should probably try to keep those sheared back at least a couple inches from the surface.
So for those of you who didn't get it, so this house has replacement windows. So they are vinyl inserts in the existing openings. So he took that out, replaced the wood part of the old window, and put it back together, which I think is the best repair.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with stuff like this, the older the house is, often the safer you are, because
True.
if things are made out of solid wood, like I think I might have talked about this once before. I found a piece of the drip edge on the back of my roof on my house that when the guys did the vinyl siding, they wrapped all the fascia with aluminum and they reverse lapped
to funnel the water right in there.
So it
That's
basically
cool.
just pours water into the soffit of the side of the house, and it was soaking wet, and it had been like that since 1986.
Oh my gosh.
And I went in there, and the wood was still intact. It
That's
was still
amazing.
there. And if that were OSB, it would have been gone the first year.
Interesting.
Do you remember our conversation earlier in that podcast with Bill, who was building in the mountains of Colorado
Yes.
with his turned down slab? So I emailed him this morning and didn't hear back, but I got some updates.
Okay.
Live updates.
Isn't this exciting? This is awesome.
On the edge of my chair.
So he's using an ICF foundation, which I think is a good choice. Just make sure it's tied to that thickened edge slab that we talked about. The lot has about a 10% slope. That seems good. This kind of thickened edge thing is much harder to do if you have a very sloping lot. So that's a good thing. Also, he points out that he gets 18 inches of precipitation a year. I think I looked that up. Soil conditions are clayey sand. Someone said it was wind-blown glacier debris.
That's a new one.
I haven't heard that.
Sounds dramatic.
There was nobody there to witness that wind-blown glacial debris being deposited,
I know.
was there?
How would you know that? I guess geologists know
I was
that.
going to say, we need Matt. He'd have an
Yeah.
answer for that.
Back to the stucco leaky window.
Yep.
Any other advice here?
No, like you said, now that I saw that picture of the house, I mean, I wouldn't open up any cans of worms there, you know.
I think even if you wanted to drill through the plaster and put a borescope in there, or cut a little hole and peek around.
Do you have a lot of diagnostic tools?
No,
Oh, you always talk
you
like you do.
But you can get those borescopes for what, like
$100.
$100,
Yeah.
and very clearly see inside a wall. So drill a little hole in your drywall on the inside would be easy to patch if you're really that concerned about it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, or just worry about something else.
Weren't you going to say
Yeah.
get on with your life?
Just get on with your life. Worry about something else.
Yeah.
Paul from Memphis writes, I've been a listener, even advocate of the podcast for many months now. Even got my wife to listen to the design discussion a few episodes back, and she didn't roll her eyes at all. So thanks. I lead a job training program in construction at Binghamton Development Corporation in Memphis, Zone 2. We work in a neighborhood of historically high unemployment, crime, poverty, etc. Our training program uses old and new residential building projects as vehicles for both hard and soft job skills training. We hire men from our neighborhood and train them on real job sites 4 days a week for 6 months. Along the way, we try to get their tape measuring down to 1/16 of an inch, teach them the basics of carpentry in real-world settings, and when they graduate, endorse them into careers in the industry.
So awesome.
Yeah, right? As a builder and trainer, my question for you is, how do you build a fine home really, really, really affordably? I know it's the Fine Homebuilding Podcast or the Air Sealing Podcast, not necessarily the Affordable Homebuilding Podcast. What ways can we do both? Attached is a 1,500 square foot house we've built and are planning to build again. An amazing architect, Brad Shapiro, has drawn up the plans for us with the specific goals of affordability and training. We will do the hardy siding, all trim, insulation, help with concrete, and maybe do the framing on this job. Everything else will be subbed out. Okay. Cute little house.
Yeah.
Super practical, using a lot of the vernacular architecture tools that older homes from this area use with porches and what have you.
What about get rid of the dormer? That would save money.
It looks really cute, though.
It does.
And I mean,
it does.
As we said before, ugly houses don't last.
It wouldn't be ugly without it.
It'd be
I only
cute.
say that because
I just wonder if it's living space.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually I always think of them as
Fake.
useless, but just to punch light, just for light.
You know, it's funny. There's a little house in my neighborhood that has a hip roof that looks. I'm up in a downtown New England town in Connecticut, but this house looks like it's something you'd see on like the Carolina coast, with one little dormer on the top, one little shed dormer on the top. And I haven't been inside the house yet, but it's a friend of a friend, and they have apparently a whole master suite up there. And it's funny how sometimes it's deceiving. You look at a house with a tiny little dormer like that, and it doesn't look like with a low hip roof, and I think in this neighborhood where these people build these little cottages, that they probably need to keep that.
It is a cute house. He has some specs here, and this will help us inform how we could lower costs, right? Our neighborhood is predominantly monolithic slab on grade, so sealed concrete floors and maybe LVT or carpet in some rooms. Rafters versus trusses. We're planning rafters. Extra time is less of a cost to us than equipment. And trusses, plus it would be an opportunity to watch Larry Hahn's videos, which we watch for basic framing. We changed the roof pitch to 712 from 812 to have 20-foot instead of 22-foot rafters, which were double the cost. So that's one thing. The lumber yard I worked for, and I know it's not the case everywhere, but we stocked 2x10s and 2x12s up to 24 feet, and they were the same board foot price. So it might be worth just calling around. Up here we have those huge length 2x12s and 2x10s because we have need a lot of cavity insulation for cathedral ceilings. So that was why they're so mainstream. So I think you might I don't know if it's worth it, but you could maybe get those more affordably. He asks, should we use 2x6s on 24-inch centers or 2x4 at 16-inch centers? I think 2x6s at 24 are great. I would still put foam insulation on the exterior if the budget allowed. Zipper Tyvek, 7/16 zip on walls, regular OSB on the roof. Huber has a $1,500 rebate for first-time users in 2019. I would totally take advantage of that just for the air barrier. Yeah. He asked what kind of insulation. Bats are really the only way to do any of these things yourself. Cellulose requires professional installation and special equipment, as does spray foam. So I think if you do an amazing job of air sealing, and I would, if you guys could, invest in a blower door and teach these folks how to use it. You're talking about fine home building. I don't think that always means materials or aesthetics. I think it's about quality construction. So teach them how to use the blower door, and it's like the most important diagnostic tool they will ever know how to use, for sure.
And that'll give them a
leg
skill.
up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Uncased openings, drywall returns and windows. Personally, I loathe all things drywall. I mean, does anyone ever wax nostalgic about drywall like they would about wood or steel? I much prefer cased openings for aesthetics and training opportunities, but this does save a few bucks. We did that at my Habitat project as well. Do you guys have any other suggestions to maximize affordability, training, and building performance? I'm going to say a couple things, and I hope you guys will take it from there, but focus on doing a good job, tight joints, good building. Like, that's fine home building no matter what the budget is. And that's like, if your trainees can be left alone and not have to be babysat, like, they're a valuable asset for their employer, and they're going to command more money for themselves. So, God, teach them to do a good job.
Yeah,
teach them to not do stuff without asking. How many times do you go back to somebody you've left in charge of something, and they say, "Well, I thought you wanted me to do this." Like, well, you should have thought to ask me I wanted you to do, not what you thought I wanted, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as, like you said, fine home building doesn't necessarily mean extravagant budgets. It just means quality over quantity. So it's like you might want to, in some of the less important spaces, cut corners with like fancy trim or something like that, just so you can spend a little extra money on a really nice front door. Just like figure out where it makes the most sense to spend things to have the quality that people experience on a daily basis when they're living in that house.
But that doesn't mean cut the craftsmanship aspect.
No, certainly not quality of construction, but basically where you don't see aesthetic details, you can probably in like my house, for example, built in the 1870s. the living room has the most extravagant trim in the house, and you get to the back of the house and it's just 1x3 boards.
Yeah.
And so it's like, just sort of put its best face, forward. So it's like not actually reducing the quality, but basically focusing on making a statement with quality details where it matters the most.
What do you think about this?
I was wondering if there are any opportunities for him to use some recycled materials.
That seems like a great idea.
I don't know if that is available to him, but it's at least, like, for instance, the exterior foam. I mean, that seems like something that you might be able to get.
Yeah, sure.
Rigid foam.
So you're referring to like the reclaimed rigid insulation we often talk about.
Yeah.
Like that'd be a great thing to start doing. And like air sealing measures, like if you can train these folks into high performance construction, they're going to have a leg up on almost all the other people who they're competing against trying to get construction jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really
And
good
I don't see it going away even in places like Alabama where it's warmer and it's less of an issue. But the building code has ratcheted up in recent years, and for folks who aren't ready, it's going to be tough to get houses certificates of occupancy.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, going towards the salvage material thing, I mean, basically, what is it? Habitat has those restores everywhere,
Yeah.
and you can find a lot of great materials
Totally.
in those. It's stuff that's like leftover from builders, and you might even want to go directly to the source. You might want to find, local building supply companies that might have some slightly damaged stuff that you could salvage pieces out of, or a local builder who might have, especially for a program like theirs where they're doing this for a good cause.
Yeah.
Maybe you could even get some
Donations.
stuff donated.
donations for sure.
Yeah, Paul, we would get bum material at the lumber yard that I worked at. One time we got a truckload of plywood that was cut out of square. And nobody else wanted that, and the mill didn't want to take it back. And I don't remember what we did with it, but I mean, that stuff happens more often than you'd imagine. And windows get misordered, and make relationships with your suppliers and tell them, hey, we're trying to build these things as inexpensively as possible. Keep us in mind when you get something weird, and maybe you can make a deal, and that would help everybody.
Especially since he makes a clear point that labor is his lowest expense, because the whole point is to give these people experience doing the work. So if you find an opportunity, maybe it's even with a local mill that's got some wood, you maybe do some interesting trim details. I mean, this house has like smooth paint grade trim on it, but maybe you just change some of the aesthetics of some of the interior, maybe do something in the kitchen, a nice paneled wall out of some rough sawn tongue and groove or something like that.
And that costs almost nothing, really.
Yeah.
And sometimes it leads to details that are they have some value to them in terms of selling, right?
Sure.
Because they're custom.
Even if it doesn't affect the appraisal, it means someone wants the house versus maybe they don't.
Right.
Like, oh, that's really cool.
I really like this one thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing that I think a place where he should look for some inspiration, I'm sure you guys have heard of that 20K initiative, the Auburn University in Alabama.
What's he talking about?
It's part of their architecture school program there, and one of their professors and a bunch of their students years ago started this thing where they saw the need for affordable housing, and they challenged themselves to be able to build with student labor.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking
these
about.
really simple vernacular architecture sort of inspired little bungalows for under $20,000.
There's lots of examples of them. Yeah.
They're certainly very simple homes, but because they focus on the details, they're just beautiful, timeless little houses, and they build them for less than $20,000.
Yep. And then actual people buy them and have them, and you can see them on their site. Yeah, it's really inspiring.
So he might even reach out to them, because their whole goal is to spread that concept. So that I'm sure they'd be perfectly happy to give him some ideas.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, Paul. It seems like an awesome program. And you and anyone else who wants to give us feedback on our advice, we'd love to hear.
Didn't Brian do a story about that program?
I think he did.
I think he did too. I'll find it.
This is Senior Editor Patrick McComb. I'm joined by Matt Milham, Deputy Editor.
Hello.
Good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Rob Watsack, Digital Brand Manager.
Hey.
Good to have you here, too.
Thanks.
And producer Jeff Rose. Thanks, Jeff. And this next question. Hey, Patrick, Matt, and Rob. I recently listened to an old Fine Woodworking podcast where Justin was a guest discussing home workshops. He mentioned that for a garage workshop, you should install rigid foam first, then batt insulation. Well, I wish I had heard that podcast 2 years ago. That's when I installed in my garage some extra bad insulation left over from an attic project and covered the faced insulation with 6mm polyethylene. Now I'm thinking of putting up drywall for added protection and a better looking shop. My question is this: should I remove the 6mm poly before installing the drywall? Would leaving the poly between the faced insulation and the drywall create moisture problems? So let's tackle that one. He's got another part of the question, but let's do this first.
It depends on what his walls are. I would say whether or not you leave it there. But I mean, it really depends on a lot of things, but that would probably be the first thing. I mean, if you had block walls, I would say, then I would probably take it off, but I don't know.
Can we see the outside of that building?
It looks like aluminum siding maybe,
Yeah.
and I think stick built.
The current suggestion is poly is not a good idea in all but the very coldest climates, but the Canadians, you know, they live in cold places, but they make it work as an air barrier, and you can do that too, but it's typically not detailed that way in this country. So that's a challenge that you'd want to research how to detail it as an air barrier and make it perform that way. But if you're putting up drywall, that's a better air barrier, so why not make that the air barrier? And I would say the poly makes the assembly less forgiving because it can only dry one way, so I would take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing that happens is any condensation that happens on that poly, if there's a difference in temperature from the inside to the inside of the wall cavity, is going to just drip down onto those sills.
Yeah, and
Right.
if there's any leaks on the outside, siding always leaks a little bit, right? And so it can't dry to the inside. Mm-hmm. So it has to dry through the aluminum siding through the outside.
Yeah, I would say if he's noticed condensation on the inside of the poly at any point, then, you know, that would be an indication that he already has some moisture in those walls. And I would definitely want to take it down just to try to help it dry out.
Yes, agreed. I think it's going to have moisture on it just because it's not a perfect air barrier, and any air that gets behind it is going to show up as water vapor on the poly later, I suspect.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, with something like this, if that is aluminum siding, it's got a pretty big air gap kind of behind it. I mean, that almost counts as a ventilated cladding to begin with. So it might be able to dry pretty well to the outside. And
he's got overhangs, and it's a hip roof, so there's overhangs on all sides, which is a good thing to have.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to take him, 20 minutes to rip all that poly out?
Right. And you'll figure out something else to do with it.
Yeah.
It's going to make a perfect lumber cover. My 2.5 car garage is 20 by 22, with half of it devoted to my workshop. I created a curtain out of 6mm poly that runs on a hospital curtain type track attached to a 2x6 running down the center of the garage. The winters here in northern Illinois, Evanston, can be pretty cold at times, I bet. But last winter, the inside temp was in the upper 40s and low 50s most days using a small propane heater. Mr. Buddy, I'm hoping that drywall might improve the heat retention. Of course it will. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you need to do the ceiling, too.
Yeah.
It's also much safer to have a drywall fire barrier up than poly sheeting.
Yeah, especially if you're running a propane heater in there that space.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to have
And
my
a lot
entire
of plastic hanging all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd get the plastic out of there. And he wants to keep his space more conditioned, right? And the rest of it is, I presume, has a car in it. So what would you tell him to do here? Put the car outside is what I would say.
Well, but I think it might even be more a matter of him just trying to make it a smaller space that he's trying to condition there, and that is a big challenge of a workshop, especially with a garage door. I mean, I'm kind of running into the same problem with my own shop. I mean, I have swinging like carriage style doors,
Which are easier to seal than an overhead door for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a rolling door is about the worst scenario. So maybe some sort of a wool blanket or some kind of a curtain of some sorts, or even like a thermal curtain might be nice. Something that's hopefully less flammable than
the plastic
sheeting.
Yeah.
Once you get your drywall air barrier up on your walls and your ceiling, it's going to make all the difference in the world. And the door is going to still be a problem, but you're going to be able to heat the space when you need to. It's going to be hard to keep it warm affordably.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're out there for a few hours, it's not going to be a big deal. You can use your propane space heater. And you actually want some ventilation because those things put out CO.
Yeah. But one thing he gets into in the next part of his question is sort of he doesn't really have much to attach drywall too on the ceiling.
So what should we tell him about that? Should we read that part of the question here?
I don't know. Well, first of all, let me just say, he gets into here. It sounds like he just has like a handful of ceiling joists.
Yes.
That, onto which he could hang anything. He refers to them as rafters, but he's really talking about ceiling joists. He's got basically three running one direction and one sort of like carrying sort of most of the center load, it sounds like.
Yeah, so he's got to put those on 16 or 24 inch centers so he can hang sheetrock. Mm-hmm. And that's not hard, right?
Yeah. Do you think he needs to add more? Or do you think he can just get away with putting blocking between the existing ceiling joists?
No, I do not think that.
He needs some proper roof framing there, or ceiling framing rather.
Yeah, and then blow the whole thing full of cellulose and enjoy your nice new workshop. Mm-hmm. This is Senior Editor Patrick McComb. I'm joined by Deputy Editor Matt Milham.
What's up?
Kylie Jacques, Design Editor.
Hello.
And producer Jeff Rose.
Hi, everybody.
James from Central New Jersey writes, hi guys, really enjoy your podcast. I own an American Foursquare in Central New Jersey, and I've been very slowly replacing all of my roof slate. I currently have 3 sides done and was wondering what to do with the chimney at the back. I love my house, but I hate the chimney running right through the middle of, and part of my day job is making virtual reality 3D tours of new homes. I've noticed all the new homes have power vents for their hot water heaters and furnaces. Could this be a good option for me? I would really benefit greatly by removing my chimney. For one, I won't have to build a cricket and flash it on the roof. I would gain larger attic space. I could gain space for shelving in my second floor bathroom, and most importantly, allow me to open up my small kitchen. Really hoping you say this would be a great idea, and thanks. So I almost started cracking up as I was reading this because this came in while Carol and I were making dinner, and sometimes I can't help myself but to look at my phone, especially if it's someone writing in about the podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And so I started reading this to her, and the part she fixated on was, for one, I won't have to build a cricket and flash it. Like, that would be a bigger obstacle than ripping down this, like, stories of masonry.
Yeah, right. And all the work that he's done on the slate roof. I mean,
so let's start there.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So beautiful.
So he has the most beautiful slate roof I have ever seen.
Scalloped slate.
And so those folks of you who are listening, not only is it beautiful slate, like the material is the best slate you can get, he put all these scallops on the roof, and it has a bunch of hips and valleys with copper.
Yeah.
And
those are like the most beautiful valleys I've ever seen.
it's gorgeous.
And he hand cut all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, he's not a professional slate guy, but it looks
He should
like
be.
it.
He is, get this. Okay, so I had to talk to this guy, right, via email. And so he does what Bill Godfrey, our Photoshop guy, does. So he fixes photography, as near as I can tell, and does these 3D renderings. So no, this is not what he does for a living. This is his labor of love, is how I would describe it.
I want to see the rest of the house. Did he send a full shot?
I don't think so. I was asking, but there's a little blog, and we'll link that on the podcast page where you can see other parts of the house.
Yeah, it would have been nice if he sent a picture of the chimney. So since that's what he's asking about.
Yeah. Did you look at his blog post? It might be
I
on
did.
there.
I looked through some of it. Yeah, there's a lot of posts, and there's a lot of cool stuff in there.
But was the chimney there?
Not that I saw, but I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Yeah.
I just didn't dig through everything.
So, James, the first posts I saw on his blog related to slating the roof are dated to 2014. So he's been working on this for 5 years.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It looks like 5 years worth of work. I mean,
So he probably has 5 years to put into taking down the chimney.
Have you ever seen that kind of treatment of slate?
Yeah. I mean, it's
haven't.
like on the wealthy industrialist homes in, I don't know if I said that right, in Pittsburgh, like they all had this kind of decorative slate. It was like clearly a status symbol, right?
Yeah. And it looks cool.
It's so beautiful.
What about this
It'll last
power
forever.
vented? You think that's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. So
You
we
do?
routinely, when we rehabbed houses at Pittsburgh Habitat, took down masonry chimneys to at least below the roof sheathing and seal them up so you don't have a thermal bypass.
Sure.
That's the thing. It's the biggest thermal bridge probably in your house besides your windows, if you got old windows.
And honestly, its venting is unreliable. Is how I would describe it. Atmospheric venting does not work always, and it used to be the fact our houses were so leaky it didn't matter, but increasingly that's a problem. I see no problem taking the chimney down.
Yeah, if you can avoid having a chimney, especially in a new house, do it.
Yeah,
Like, there's no reason to have a chimney in a new house. I understand like fireplaces are great. They look fantastic. But I mean, you can get appliances for those that don't require a chimney.
Right.
I think
You can also get appliances that don't require power venting, right? Can't you do passive venting with, what are they called? Condensing appliances?
those still
Those
have
are still,
a
yeah.
venting motor,
Okay.
fan that helps get the exhaust gases out because they don't have the buoyancy of hot gases to go up on their own. So you need some means to push them out of the flue.
Yeah.
So that's the only way to do it, was the power venting?
Or electricity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, have a little, like what you've got, like we were talking about, the little electric stove. Yeah.
So like he explained to me he has a Wheel McLean 82% efficiency atmospherically vented boiler. You can buy kits to make those vent through the wall. And I would say that's no problem with gas as he has. If you want to do the same thing with oil, that's a bigger problem because it leaves nasty oily residue around in your house if you want to vent it through the sidewall. I've seen that firsthand. And they make similarly vented gas water heaters, tank or instantaneous that vent through the wall. All the instantaneous ones go through the wall, but you can get tank styles that have a power vent system on top. Way more expensive than a conventional atmospherically vented tank, but arguably, well, it's safer.
Yeah. They also come in electric. You can get an on-demand electric water heater.
And they just have such insanely high
Draw. Yeah.
amperage requirements. Like it's not reasonable for most people's electric service. The ones I've seen like take 2 or 3 30 amp breakers. It's insane. It's like so much power.
Yeah, but then you get to put in a sub panel just for that.
Are those typically for commercial use then?
I don't know who uses them.
I don't know no one uses them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very rare thing to want that.
Yeah, the thing is they exist.
If you have no other choice and you have lots of power available, like a commercial building, maybe like a warehouse or something, you don't run on gas to it, but you already have, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
But then you don't have any penetration.
Well, you got to have a
Electrical
electrical
service.
cable come
Yeah.
into the building.
Right. That's probably coming in through the basement. Maybe. I don't know.
Can phone
or
that.
sidewall. Yeah.
Do you think he's just going to take a portion of it down? What do you think he?
It sounds
he
like
was-
he wants to go all the
he
way
was
so he
talking
can get
about
some
how-
shelf space in his bathroom or whatever.
Yeah, and then all the way down to his kitchen. So I mean, it sounds like he wants to go all the way down. So we did this a bunch with volunteers, and you'll find the bricks come apart in your hands. You don't really need to put a lot of effort into breaking them apart. It's just gonna fall apart.
You start wailing on it and they
Just
crumble.
Oftentimes you can just start, especially at the top where it's exposed to the weather, they just pull apart. You could probably push it off the roof, the ones we often came across.
Man.
Then what's he going to do with all that brick?
I think he's going to have some kind of backyard outdoor room project to do,
Yeah.
like a brick hearth out there
I think
with
it
a
would be
pizza
so
oven.
cool to have a bunch of brick to work with. I want a big pile of brick.
So, James, you know what to do with your brick. Kylie's going to come get it in her Ford Fiesta.
I remember
Yep,
seeing a
on
story
my
years
way.
ago. It was like, I think it was something online. A guy who had taken his chimney down from the bottom.
That seems like a flaw.
Like he was taking it out like a few feet at a time and he would leave a little section of it and then whack it out and the whole thing would just fall down.
Whoa.
And then he kept doing it like that. I'm like, who thought that would be a good idea?
Oh my God.
I can tell you, we tried to do one time. It was one of the first houses I did at Habitat, and I was like, well, we're eliminating the atmospheric chimney, right? We don't need the chimney, but we just are going to take it down to the roof. We'll leave the rest of it there, right? So I was like, we'll just throw the bricks down into the chimney and we won't have to get rid of them, right? And everyone's like, oh, that's a great idea. Like 4 bricks went down before it was like overflowing. Complete fail.
Yep.
I just want to point out that all of you should consider, like, power venting your ancient chimneys, especially if you decide to upgrade your furnace to either a power vented or a direct vent combustion system, because when you leave your atmospherically vented water heater in there without the chimney or without the furnace expelling into the chimney, the flue is often too cold for the water heater to vent effectively. It just, like, the masonry gets too cold or it's too big, and then the water heater doesn't vent anymore, and people don't know this. You can't tell unless you have a CO detector and it's spilling, right? But it has a name. It's called an orphaned water heater, and it's common enough it has a name, so that's why I bring it up.
It's an apt name.
Yeah. Our final question comes from John. He says, Dear Fine Homebuilding Podcast, I'm an avid listener and home DIY and equipment tinkerer. I'm looking to downsize my home shop into a 12 by 24 garage workshop. For space savings, I'm considering selling my Grizzly G1023 cabinet saw and using a job site saw, either the Bosch 4100 or the SawStop job site saw, since I have a Capex miter saw and Festool MFT/track saw for processing material as well. My question is, can I expect to get consistent quality cuts on a job site saw as I have from my cabinet saw? What is the cut quality and consistency of the new SawStop Job Site Pro versus a cabinet saw? Thanks again for all your great content.
This question probably titillated you.
Oh my God, I was so titillated.
Well,
so, no, you cannot accept to get the same cut quality. It's just not the same thing.
no.
And depending on what you're doing, a job site saw might be fine. If you're doing like job site ripping extension jams and ripping shelving and ripping edge banding and maybe doing build-ins and stuff, a job site portable is fine. But if you intend to use it for joinery or whatever, you're going to want a cabinet saw. And admittedly, his cabinet saw is on the entry-level part of the spectrum. I looked it up this morning, and that Grizzly model retails for between $1,500 and $1,800, depending on how big the rip capacity is. And the job site SawStop model is nearly as much at $1,400. So, but it also won't cut off your finger. So, I mean, you have to you have to put that as part of the equation, I would say too.
Yeah.
And the SawStop, I've been using it for weeks now, is the best job site portable. But if you're expecting for it to be quiet and vibration free and have the sizable table of a cabinet saw, I think you're dreaming.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, the arbors are the same size, but the way everything gets mounted in these job site saws, it's not nearly as sturdy as a cabinet saw. And I mean, I've just never been able to get as clean a cuts on a job site saw as I can get on.
Do you want to talk about how they're constructed differently? Because I think that is a key to helping people understand why that one works better than the other.
Well, I don't know enough about exactly how everything is assembled. But I mean, the arbors are on like a tiny little motor, right? In these job site saws,
Yeah.
which are kind of then mounted to like a welded steel frame that is probably
It's always
like
mounted
encased
to
in
the
plastic.
to the table,
Right.
which is a piece of aluminum.
Right.
And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just not.
Solid.
Yeah, it's not solid. So like a cabinet saw, it's got a steel cabinet, and then the trunnion is mounted to the cabinet, and the top is put on after the fact, right? So inevitably, you need to align the blade to the miter slot, which in turn is going to register it so it's parallel to the fence. On a cabinet saw, you can loosen the bolts that attach it to the cabinet. You can loosen the bolts that attach the top to the cabinet, and you can tweak that super easily with a rubber mallet just by whacking it on one in the corner or the other. Whereas a job site saw and what are described as contractor and hybrid table saws have the trunnion mounted to the underside of the table, which makes it less expensive, but it also means that when you go to align it, you have to crawl under there, loosen the bolts, move the trunnion around in relation to the table, and square it up that way. And it's a much bigger pain in the butt.
Do you guys have both?
I don't have a cabinet saw, but
Yeah, just two job site saws.
it's interesting. I've been considering getting a cabinet saw because I've been doing more furniture making,
Yeah.
right? And you can do a joinery with much greater precision, generally speaking, than you can with a job site portable. But I mean, I don't want it to take up all the room that
Right.
a cabinet saw takes up.
Yeah.
And I mean, he already has a cabinet saw, so I would just keep it. But
Yeah. And I mean, your fence options, like you can get all kinds of cool fences for cabinet saws that you're not going to be able to get for a job site saw. You're going to be able to run generally like bigger dado stacks if you want to do any of that kind of stuff. You're not going to be doing that with the track saw.
agreed.
So
That'd be awesome if you could.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. For for my money, I would stick with the cabinet saw if you've already got it.
Yeah, I would say so too. One thing is like using a cabinet saw is just so much more pleasant. It's kind of what people describe as a DC or an induction motor, which makes its horsepower at a pretty low RPM compared to the what are described as universal motors on a job site portable, which are probably spending at 3,000 or 4,000 RPM to make their what they claim is 3 horsepower, which is really laughable. It's probably closer to a horsepower or 1.5 horsepower, but and it's screaming loud. Whereas a cabinet saw is pretty quiet.
Does Justin have a cabinet saw?
He does. He has a saw stop cabinet saw because he makes lots of money.
He has a much bigger shop than you guys have too, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to. I mean, I would have both. Frankly, I would want a job site portable to take outside or to take with me when I'm working on stuff that you're. Yeah.
They serve
you don't want to
different
have
functions,
to. Yeah, you don't want to have to go to the garage every time you want to like cut a piece of trim.
I definitely don't. Just kidding.
What else do we have to say about cabinet saws? Heavy.
They're heavy.
If you're planning on moving, don't get a cabinet saw.
Yeah. Extension tables, though, and all that. I think that's going to be a lot easier. I don't know.
Yeah.
Than it is with a job site saw.
Totally. And honestly, if you're looking to save space, like the job site portables with a stand, they even folded up take up a space about, I'd say 2 foot deep by 3 foot wide. So, I mean, that's not much less than a cabinet saw with a smaller rip capacity. I mean, if you have 60 or 72 inches of rip capacity, yeah, it's going to be way bigger. But if you have 36 or 30, boy, it's a pretty similar footprint. Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks to our podcast co-hosts for joining me, and thanks to all of you for listening. Please send us your comments, questions, and suggestions to FHBpodcast@finehomebuilding.com, and please like, comment, or review us however you're listening. Thanks very much for listening.